408. Don't send me another one, please. Just send one email. If you've already sent it, we got it. Trust us. All right. So last night we finished what we called Beta 1 on Team Lynch over here. That was our family, people very close to us, testing the app. And so far, you know, we came up with a couple of tweaks, a couple of new suggestions. So we submitted those today. Tomorrow we have a new list, Beta 2. Those are people sort of in my close circle, if you will. They'll be testing it for the next couple of days. And then after Beta 2 is proven to work, we will then be sending it out to everybody else who sent an email to us. We're gonna say, hey, you can get this thing now from the iPhone store. And then we're gonna start testing the Android. And within a couple of weeks, you know, you guys will all have it, and we'll be on our way. You know, things will be going much easier. You'll be seeing all the articles that we're putting up, and you can get your news without having to guess. And I know you guess sometimes because it's amazing. I get these emails all day long, as I've told you before, and people be like, hey, check out this story. And it's something that we did 3 days before. And I say, okay, this says two things to me. Number one, this person isn't checking our website every day like they should be as a resource. And number two is that Facebook just isn't putting our stuff in the feeds. And so, you know, I mean, sometimes we'll see the records in the back on our, the Insights, Facebook calls it. We got over 1 million people with our 2 pages. We'll put out something about Trump. It will reach 6,000 people. We're like, what? How could that possibly be? How can that possibly be? Anyway, here's what it is. 2 more things. As you can see, last couple of nights, I've been doing the DML report, real quick hitting stuff at nighttime. I'll be doing another one tonight, and eventually that will be in a studio starting next year. So the walk and talk in the day, quick little DML report at night. Harlan Hill will be starting with us next year, and he'll be doing some nighttime stuff as well, some daytime stuff. We're gonna have some really good news and entertainment for you. All right, and then the last thing is, my daughter just dropped me off here. Dad, we got like 1,600 followers already. I'm like, what? She says, yeah. She goes, you don't know how many people opened up an Instagram account just to follow us. I'm like, all right. So I don't know. She's putting all the kind of stuff that I would never put up about what goes on. Fun pictures, stuff. I don't know. I don't understand how the Instagram stuff works. So she's taking care of that. If you want to join in, I think it's another place for those, you know, for you guys to have conversations. And I know you like doing that. The Instagram is DML is my dad. DML is my dad. I think she also set up another one too, which is Real Dennis Lynch. But that will just link to the DML is my dad. So give it a look if you do the Instagram thing. And if you don't, give it a look anyway. You know, all your friends on here are there and you can talk to them. All right, I think I've waited long enough. Looks like we're gonna have a small crowd today. Maybe everybody's doing last minute Christmas shopping, or maybe it is that Facebook just says, hey, I'm not putting in the feed anymore. Who knows? Who cares? We do our walk and talk whether we have 2 people, 2,000 or 200,000. So, first topic is Donald Trump. Newt Gingrich just did an interview, I think it was with NPR, in which he said Donald Trump has announced that he's not going to use the drain the swamp term anymore. And Newt said, look, I'll support the guy whatever he decides to do or not decide to do. But ultimately, he's disappointed in the fact that Donald Trump is coming off that position. That, you know, Trump said it was a cute phrase to use during the campaign, but now he's not going to use it. And Newt Gingrich said he hopes there isn't a change of attitude for Donald Trump, and the fact that draining the swamp is a priority, because I got to tell you, that is one of the things that we all cast our vote for, was the fact that we would get rid of the corruption and the old stogie back of the room guys. Sits back and says, what are the policies going to be? What can we do for ourselves? You, me, and then maybe everybody else. Lobbyists, yeah, more money. We want that gone. You know, we want that gone. I love Drain the Swamp. You know, drain the swamp, build the wall. I mean, 2 great bumper stickers on the both sides of the back thing. Build the wall, drain the swamp. You know, so that's got me a little bit. You know, I like Newt Gingrich. He's not my favorite guy in the world, but he's towards the top of the guys I like. One of the smartest dudes there is. It goes around, but you know, I mean, you know, and Newt will speak. He'll speak vividly, candidly, all the stuff. Boom. And so when he says something like that, you know, it makes me look out the corner of my eye. He's a little tuned in better than I am to Donald Trump. So we'll see. But one of the things I was also disappointed is, like, I got hit with a 2-for-1 today. You know, Donald Trump hitting my cell phone with texts coming in from Twitter. Now he's writing about how he would have won the election in the popular vote had he tried to campaign that way, had he campaigned to win the popular vote. But he didn't win the popular vote. You know, he won the electoral vote. Who cares, Donald? You won the presidency, man. You're in. Why are you looking back? Why are you tweeting stuff like that? 3 tweets, not just one. Tweet. You know, now the reason why he's tweeting that out is because the final numbers came out today. It turns out that Donald Trump lost the popular vote to Hillary Clinton by 2.8 million votes. However, if you strip away New York and California, which basically is, you know, bluer than blue. DML, I thought you don't sing until the end of the conversation. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes I just can't stop myself. I love singing. If you take away New York and California, Trump beat her by 3 million votes. So it kind of gives you the story right there, that California and New York are just blanketing these elections with blue votes, you know? So, but instead of just letting it go, and instead of just like ignoring it, you know, Trump's gonna tweet out about it. 3 tweets that he would have won if he wanted to do that and do that. I don't know, man, I don't know. I will tell you that those are the days, those are the times that I get a little bit nervous. I'll be honest. And you know, I always talk to you. You know, most of you, 90% of you say, DML, even if it's something I don't like, you got to give it to me straight. Give it to me straight. If I want to be scared, I'll go somewhere else. If I want to be lied to, I'll go somewhere else. I want it straight. The other 10% of you will send me the emails right now and say, he hasn't even gotten to office yet, and you're worried about him saying, drain the swamp. And you know what? The Twitter thing, he needs to use the Twitter thing because people will lie. I get that. You know, I get that. The part that I'm concerned about with the tweets, and remember, I'm often right on these things, unfortunately sometimes, is that those tweets sometimes come out like the little boy who cried wolf. And my concern is that because it is such a powerful tool, and because he does master it on many, many levels, and because we do need it, especially when the press is going to start lying about different things, which they're going to do all the time, you know that, right? My concern is that when he uses it for foolishness like this, that it dilutes the other stuff that he says and writes. And as a poor example, I'll sort of say it this way. Let's say, for instance, that, you know, the people who follow me here every single day, and the people who donate to me, right? And the people who buy my DVDs and support me through thick and thin. You know, I turn around and I say to you, listen, I want to let you know, I love you to death. I love you to death, even though I haven't met you. I love you to death for showing myself, my family, my children, my platform, our platform. I love you so much for doing that. And I mean it. Now, I'm a guy who, I'll speak my heart, I'll speak my mind. Now, if you see me go to a bunch of liberals and say, I want to let you know that I love you, I mean, you'd be like, wait a second, DML. Wait a second. I'm not sure whether or not I'm buying this anymore. And that's the way it goes, right? So my concern is that, Donald Trump is he's already got a mountain to climb with the left. He's already got a mountain to climb, and he can climb it. He can climb it. There are other people who have started to go over to the Trump side, and they just say, you know what? I'm interested in what this guy's going to do. I'm hoping he can. I mean, I told you the story of my mother-in-law, right? My mother-in-law has been a liberal, voting blue. Turns around and said, hey, I'm going to give him a shot. It's those people there that he can't lose, So those tweets do bother me. They do bother me. And boy, do I hope he stops those. Because that's gonna that waters down. It's not consistent. It's inconsistent. You look at what Newt Gingrich says, right? Newt said, well, he might be dropping things like build the wall and drain the swamp because he's trying to act a little more presidential. He's trying to be a little more, I don't know, friendlier, right? Bringing people together. No. But all right, okay, I get that. I get it. I could look that way and understand it, even though I don't like to look that way and like it. I will. But then you send out these tweets, like I just talked to you about, and it doesn't work. The one offsets the other. And so that's that as far as politics. And I'll just end with this on politics because we're almost at the corner, and that says to me, Dan, try to go to the next topic, opinion. I told you yesterday during the walk and talk that every single last card has been played by the left. There's no stopping him. He's in. He's the president, and that's all it's going to be. And then, I read a couple articles, and there's this new movement about trying to impeach him. Impeach him. Right away, impeach him. And try to impeach him about his businesses or whatever. So, the fact of the matter is that, like I told you, there's no more cards to play. But it doesn't mean that they're going to stop. They're just going to continue. And it's going to be like, it's going to be like going to the beach, but with green flies. Anybody who lives in New York and goes to the beaches down at Jones Beach or anywhere here, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, hey man, we're going to the beach today. That's great. But then you get there, it's green flies. And so these people are just going to be like green flies. And we just got to keep on swatting them away and just realize the fact that, we're at the beach and it's a good thing. So anyway, that's a new name maybe. Maybe that's a new name. DML just came out with a new name for liberals. Green flies. Yeah, I'm going to refer to them from now on. New term, green flies. Okay. I know I've never met anybody who said green flies are good or who likes green flies. All right. Now, next thing. Terror. So, as you know, and I'm only informing you of things that you already know, but sorry. We had this terror attack in Berlin, and they thought they had the right guy, then they had the wrong guy, then they thought they had the right guy, then the wrong guy. Now they're on a manhunt for a guy from Tanzania. And of course, I don't know, his name's Ahmed or something of that nature. And guy's on the run, manhunt, whole 9 yards. And it amazes me. It absolutely amazes me how the media will just not come out and say Islamic terrorists. I bopping around looking at ABC, NBC, CBS. I have to see how they're covering this stuff. And it's just like, they're trying to touch this with white gloves. Well, we just don't know because we just don't know who it is yet. We thought we had a suspect and we didn't have a suspect. And they try to do everything they possibly can to avoid saying Islamic terror. This Merkel, Chancellor Merkel over there in Germany. Let me give you a couple of stats here. and how it is that we have such a huge problem coming our way. It's already here, but it's only going to get worse, even with Trump in office. Because I'm telling you, you know, it's like the Titanic. I'll get back to the Titanic. Let me say this. 1.3 million refugees going to Germany. 1.3 million refugees. Less than 3% have jobs. All right, less than 3%, 34,000. And some of those jobs are just really temporary work. It's garbage jobs, you know? So you got almost 1.2 million people come in and they're not working. Now, I have told you this, and I'm getting so tired of saying, told you, but I told you. When you have refugees, you have immigrants coming into new areas where they are totally unfamiliar and they can't blend in, and they come in with this crazy ideology, right? This crazy religious driven lives. And I'm going to get to that in the wow section. But, you know, everything they do is Allah, 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 Allah. I mean, you know, where we're going to go shopping today? I don't know. Where would Allah go? I mean, it's just like, you know, I'm being exaggerant, but you get it. You know what I mean? It's like everything is driven by that. You know, they can't fit into these new environments. So when they can't get the jobs, they start to stray. They start to go really radical. And many of them, especially the young ones, as I've told you before, you know, everybody in the morning, everybody wakes up to aspire to something. It's human nature. I don't care who you are. And if you're not radical and you're in this new place and you're having a hard time, people are looking at you, you know, you sound different, you look different, you walk different, everything's different. And you can't adjust and you can't get a job, you get angry, man. You get angry. You lash out at the world. You lash out at the world. And then you've got these jihadists sending, you know, propaganda up there and blaming everybody else for the fact that you're in that situation. You radicalize. You don't have a job. You know, the things that's great about jobs, whether it's in not working, that translates to one thing, man. Disaster. Disaster. You think Germany's got a problem right now? Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's only going to metastasize. It's only going to get worse. And one of the reasons why it's going to get worse is because it's so freaking effective. You got two guys who just drive a truck and kill all these people, injure all these people, and basically the entire world is now looking at Germany. Everything stops. Shows stop, programs stop, everything changes, and they're all looking. You don't think the person who's starting to think radicalization, the person who feels as if they've been outcast and left alone, all of a sudden say, wait a second, I can't get somebody down the block to pay attention to me, but now I'm going to get the world to pay attention to me. It is the most powerful vacuum there is. You can't stop it. You cannot stop it. So you translate that over to America. Okay. For the first 11 weeks of this fiscal year, all right? Now remember, there's a difference between calendar year and fiscal year. Fiscal year, so far we're in the first 11 weeks. It ends September, it starts October. So when you hear fiscal year, for those of you who do not know that, it is the fiscal year. Okay, so first 11 weeks, we have taken in, cheat sheet, I want to get the number right. I think it's 30. What do we got? You see this? Wow. This is a gift from you guys. Look at this. Huh? Is that the best thing in the world? Like a quarterback. What would we take? We have taken in 23,000 refugees in the first 11 weeks. We're on pace to go beyond 110,000, which was Obama's goal. But we're going to be beyond 110. Now you're going to say, well, why doesn't Trump just turn that off? I don't know. I don't know if he will. I haven't heard the exact words from him that say, oh, by the way, that 110,000 we got coming in, first day, I'm just stopping it all. He hasn't said anything like that recently. So if that's the case, you know, if he's going to allow this thing to continue until he tries to figure out extreme vetting or whatever it may be, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. When you compare that to last year at this time we had just under 14,000. We're now at 23,000. And so you want to talk about the effect Obama will have long after he's gone? Here it is. And your buddy DML has been talking about this for years. For years. I said the way he's going to fundamentally transform this country is by bringing in people. Just bringing in people. And that's the case. So, you want to talk about how that affects this country? How it affects the fact that if you look at what's happening over there in Germany right now, you can bank it. You can bank it right now. What you're seeing there is this way. It's coming this way. Yep, it's coming this way. We took in over 80,000 refugees last year. We're taking in over 110,000 so far, as I just told you, this fiscal year. You put that number together, it's 250,000. That's only a fifth of what they took in 1 year in Germany. If Donald Trump doesn't turn off that spigot, like he promised that he'd turn off that spigot, Germany becomes the US. That's it. Germany becomes the US. Get ready for that. 250,000 people. And 250,000 people, think about how many people that is. 250,000 people. That's like taking Yankee Stadium, filling it up, what, 5-6 times, and dumping it. Dumping it, refugees, dumping it into the country. Yeah, the majority of these people coming in, all Muslim. 99% of all the people we're taking in from all the Syrian refugees right now, they're all Muslim. Where are the Christians? I thought the Christians were the ones who were the ones being prosecuted the most. Where are they? Why are we taking in more Muslims? Now you see the fundamental transformation. DML, you talk to us about this all the time. I know I do. I know I do. And look what continues to happen. Look what continues to happen. And look at this is the same thing we talked about yesterday. You got to punch it home. You got to punch it home. Plus, you're going to be sitting at Christmas, you know, with your liberal sisters and your socialist uncles, and they're going to be telling you about this and that, and Trump's all bad, and how it all goes. And it's NG, man. What does NG stand for? Remember? No good. It's NG. You got to be spewing this stuff out to these people. And you got to ask them a simple question. You want the question of the year? Here's the question of the year. Nobody will be able to give you an answer to this question. Why do we need all these refugees? What value does it do for the American people? They won't be able to give you an answer. They will not be able to give you an answer. And the reason being is because there isn't an answer. The only value to this whole thing is if you are a progressive, if you are a Democrat, you keep on bringing these people in and they are going to continue to vote Democrat. Yeah, I told you this back in the election. And you know, because Trump grabs the cameras the way he does, and because we have so many other things going on with recounts and electors and all that stuff, this story I'm about to tell you has gone overlooked. We have a woman in Minnesota who won her election. She's from Congress. She is a refugee, a Somalian refugee. She's now a member of Congress. Nobody ran against her. They had a Republican guy. Hear the bells? You got the bells, everyday bells, right? That's the great thing about walk and talk. Might be the highlight of the whole walk and talk. Let me give a little acknowledgement if you don't mind. All right, God. Thank you for this wonderful day. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to these wonderful people. May God bless the people who lost their lives over in Berlin. And may you keep us safe. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, back to our program. So, light day today. What do we got? 4.2. Yep, I see the emails already. DML, you weren't in my feed today. DML, tried clicking on you today. I know. Anyway, thank you. Good tune. So, getting back to where we were, which I forgot. Where were we? What was I saying? How did I forget? It's terrible. Saying something about refugees. Oh, I think you were saying when you're at the table. There is no answer. Unless you are a Democrat and you know that you need more people to come in and vote Democrat to make it a one-party system. That's another reason. I tell you, we talk about terror, we talk about jobs, we talk about culture. And I don't know if we talk enough about culture. My DVDs talk about culture. We need to talk a little bit more about culture. But maybe we'll do that tomorrow. But one of the biggest things that never gets really talked about is the impact that this will have on elections. Oh, I know. So I was talking about the woman from Minnesota. Yeah. So, and it will. Let me just say it. This will have a huge impact on elections going forward. We may have lost this one. I mean, we may have won this one. But let me tell you, if he doesn't turn off that spigot, we will wind up losing. We'll lose in the future. I'm telling you. Now, that said, we have this woman, this Somalia woman. She's a refugee. She's now a member of Congress. Nobody ran against her. We had a guy, he's a Republican, dropped out weeks before. They said they couldn't find anybody to replace him. She went uncontested. She won. This is the sort of thing. You read a website, what did it talk about? Got to take, nothing about white people, just all focused in on brown people. That's not my words, right? Focus in on the fact of, it was almost like a mini Obama. It was like Obama wrote a website. It's really what it came down to. And I read it. I'm like, man, this is so biased. It's one way. It's like that Luis Gutierrez, that guy from Chicago. You go to his website, do that, and check on the press tab. Check on the press tab, and look what it is for him. Every single last thing. Latino. Immigration. This guy was elected to support all the people. You never see anything about like, hey, going to the Polish parade, or hey, going to the Italian restaurant tonight with my Italian friends. Never, and nothing. Just continuously, Latino. Anybody else were to do that? I would have run for Congress. If I ran for Congress and I went out here, be like, yeah, we're having a white celebration night. Yep. Yeah, tonight's going to be, let's thank for my Irish heritage. If you start having that, I start doing that, oh my God. They'd have me strung upside down. They'd be beating me with sticks. Oh, everything. Calling for my resignation. Everything. It's so upside down. And that's why I tie it back. You talk about cleaning the swamp. It's more than just getting rid of a few lobbyists, man. We gotta rewind, and have it just so this way we're back to talking the way we used to talk. People. People. That's what it's supposed to be. People. Not blacks, not Latinos, not Asians. People. That's it. That is it. And that's that. That's my opinion piece. All right, now we go to the wow. And we're sticking with the whole Muslim theme today. Yeah, because it's gone crazy. Wouldn't be a day without a leaf blower. December 21st, we're still blowing leaves. Somebody's got to be making money, right? Okay, so 2 wows today. 2 wows. Because I couldn't decide between the two. Wow number 1. There's a video on DennisMichaelLynch.com. If you do not go watch this, you are shortchanging yourself. You really are. You need to take the time. On DennisMichaelLynch.com, and it will be on the homepage. I don't think we only did it a little while ago. There's a video of a Syrian man and woman. Woman is dressed in full Islamic garb. And they have 2 daughters. Appear to be 7 and 9. They're hugging the daughters, and they are talking to the daughters about the fact that they are about to go in and light off a suicide bomb at a police station in Damascus. These weak pieces of crap. Weak pieces of crap. Taking these two little girls, strapping bombs to them, and let a guy film it. And the piece of crap who filmed it and didn't do anything, he needs his ass kicked too. They strapped these two little girls, brainwash them to death that they're gonna go in and blow up this police station in Damascus in the name of Allah. Kissing these girls, hugging them as if they loved them. You pieces of crap. These two little girls, these poor little girls, 7 and 9. They get dressed up in their winter clothes. They go in to the police station. Boom. Gone. Boom. Bombs detonated from the outside. This is why I tell you every day, you can't get your head into these people's head. How many times do I tell you this every single day? When is it ever proved to be untrue? When is it ever proved to be exaggerated or fake news? When? Zero. Zero. Why isn't this story, I'm telling you right now, why isn't this story on the lead of every single effing news station? Why am I hearing about Donald Trump and Steve Bannon again instead of seeing these two girls manipulated and, as far as I'm concerned, raped of their lives by their father and mother in the name of Allah? Who does that? Who does that? Why isn't it on the cover of the New York Times? Why isn't President Barack Hussein Obama getting up on his podium, Mr. Know-It-All, and saying, Islamic community, rise up and be pissed off? Why aren't we getting that? Why aren't we getting that? Because if Donald Trump were to stand up and even say, Allah, the world would come crushing down. He should be impeached. He's a racist. He's a misogynist. He's this, he's that, he's that, he's that. We got to get rid of this guy. He stands for the wrong things. Wrong things, I tell you. This guy's all for capitalism and borders, and can't have that. No, can't have that. Because Islam's a peaceful religion. Gotta spread that news. Yeah. Yeah. That's what we're looking at. Go ahead. Watch it. Don't ignore it. Don't ignore it. Don't be so foolish. Don't say, I can't watch it. I just can't watch it. You have to watch it. You have to watch it. If you close your eyes to it, you pretend as if it doesn't exist. Okay? This is not one of those cases where you close your eyes and say, I know there's not a boogeyman, I know there's not a boogeyman, I know there's not a boogeyman. It's not the case. There is the boogeyman. Do you understand? And you need to be able to see it. But they're not going to show it. They're not going to show it. Because they don't want the American people to know that that's the case. They don't want the American people to know we've got those people coming in. Are you kidding me? Understand this? You're an inspector, right? And you're inspecting and you're doing an interview. You got these two beautiful little girls, 7 and 9. And they just say something to the point of, oh, yeah, I want to come to America. If they could even say it. And you got the mother and father say, yeah, we just want to go to America. Okay, who's going to say no to this? Who's gonna say no to this? Yeah, to come over. And then you really learn that these two kids have been completely brainwashed by mommy and daddy, who believe that you gotta sacrifice your own two kids with bombs strapped on them. Yeah. Where's Obama? Where's Obama? Do I get angry at this? I'm containing myself today. Dml, contain yourself. Yeah, where is he? You know, I remember when the black boy was killed down in Florida, right? By Zimmerman. What'd he do? Got on and he said Trayvon Martin could be my son. Okay. Well, what about getting on television and saying the two little girls, Syrian girls, could have been my daughters? Where's the outrage there, Barack? Where is it? It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Nobody's outraged. Nobody's outraged but you and I. And see, you and I, also known as the racists, right? Who hate Muslims or who hate Latinos and who are hating blacks, because that's what the story is, right? That we hate everybody. Here I am getting all upset over these two girls, 7 and 9 Muslim girls. I'm devastated, you know. I want to actually beat somebody to a pulp. I do. And you know who I want to beat to the pulp the most? The guy holding the freaking camera, videotaping it. What a scumbag. What a little man. What a little man. God, what I'd give. What I'd give to have 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. At 30 seconds, it would be over. 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 So, you take these things that are going on. This is the second wow. You take these things that are going on, and you look at this story. I don't know if you heard of this or not. We'll have it on our site. If they're not doing it already, have it on our site. There's this YouTube star, young guy. Looks like he's in his 20s. He's got 1.6 million followers on his YouTube account. It's an impressive number. I don't know what he's done to get that. I don't know what he said to get that, but he's got it. So anyway, he goes on an airplane. I think he's on there with his brother on a Delta flight. This is just yesterday, I think. And he starts talking Arabic while he's on the flight. Well, about to take off maybe. And some of the other customers are upset with this. You know, they're uncomfortable. And so they tell the stewardesses. And so, before you know it, the guy and his brother were being removed from the airplane because they spoke Arabic. Now, let's dissect this. 1 degree, there's the part of me that says, oh man, what a shame. You know, what a shame. What a shame. Because we should live in a world where you can speak your native tongue if you want to speak your native tongue. If you only have one language to speak and you want to just speak it for whatever reason, maybe the other person on the phone said whatever and you responded in Arabic or Italian or Spanish or Russian. I have no idea. You know, it'd be nice if we lived in a world where when you did something like that, you didn't have to worry about it. And I'm going to bank all the tea in China that had there been 2 Chinese men on this flight and one of them was talking English and then all of a sudden they turned around and said something in Chinese, people wouldn't have been up in arms. But this guy said something in Arabic and he's a young guy and he looks Middle Eastern. And unfortunately, the math is 1 and 1 is often 2. Now, who created that situation? Because in his video that he's filming on the plane, he says that he's about to cry. He can't believe this is happening, that he's being removed from an airplane for speaking, temporarily so, in his native tongue. And there's a part of me that feels for him. But 1 and 1 in this world now equals 2. 1 and 1. Young Arabic man, speaking Arabic. I should really say 1 + 1 + 1 on an airplane. You know? And as bad as I feel for him, that had to happen, I'd feel more bad if we didn't check into it. Because 3,000 people in this country died because young men who speak both English and Arabic got on a plane and crashed them into 3 buildings and an empty field. That's where we are. 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 equals 3 in our minds here in America. And so tough. It's not fair. I get it. It's not fair. And it's not ideal. It's not ideal. And yeah, to a certain degree, it's you're holding me back from speaking Arabic. In this particular case, as unfair as it is, yeah, it's in the same way that I'm being held back from not having my feed put into everybody who wants to have it fed. Yeah, I'm being restricted. You're being restricted. That's now, unfortunately, the world we live in. How sad is it? So maybe now you feel what we feel. Maybe you feel what it is for us, like when we sit here and want to just say how we're pissed off at this person or this person or this person is doing this to our country. How it is that I say, no, I'm not going to have anybody who doesn't speak English come do working at my house. You know, now you understand what it's like. Now you get a taste. Maybe you get a taste. Now, although I don't feel bad to the extent that where I would sit in my seat and not complain, I feel bad for the kid. But let me tell you, had I been on that plane, I would have been the first person to say something. First one. In fact, I may actually have gone over to the guy and said, dude, it's not working here, man. It's not working. You're scaring all the people on this plane. And he would have came back to me, who the fuck do you think you are? I said, listen to me. I'm telling you right now, it's not working. And so I'm calling right now. Say, hello, get the cops in here. Do not take this flight off. Because I'll tell you what, I'm not going to put my life, my family's life, and these other people's life at risk just because you want to speak Arabic. That's where we are. That's where we are. I hate to bring up topics and problems that I can't fix. I know we're jumping around here right now. This is always it's a shame too. It's a bad spot. It's probably the most beautiful spot on my walk. I'll show it to you a little bit. I'll take a little pause here in the action. There's a waterway leads out to the Atlantic. You can see it. It's beautiful. It's all that old ducks, and then this little bridge over here goes over. You got it again. I'll show it to you. But for some reason, we get terrible reception here. Sorry. But anyway, I hate bringing up things that I don't have a solution for. I don't have a solution for this. I don't have a solution for this. And so I will basically just go into story time now because it all ties together today. And yes, I am not very funny today. But, you know, these topics, man, it's not funny. Where's the humor in people dying in Berlin? Where's the humor in 2 little girls being blown up by their parents in the name of Allah? And where's the humor in a young guy, who probably doesn't have a bad bone in his body? I don't know. You know, he's got 1.6 million followers. He's got to be doing something that's right. Probably wants to do nothing but just make people laugh and smile. And yet, we're going to kick you off the plane because you're speaking Arabic before it takes off. You know what I mean? That's nothing to laugh about, you know? That's not laughing about. I feel bad. But I feel more bad for the people who die, if that would ever be the case. And sooner or later, the guy who's doing that on the plane isn't going to be there with 1.6 million followers. He's going to be one of these radical nut jobs. And so we've got to take every single situation and look at it thoroughly. And so that's it. That's the way it goes. Now, I will tell you story time. Story time. I'll show you something. Now, if you've seen They Come to America 2 already, this is nothing new to you. If you haven't seen it yet and you got the DVDs, well then I'm going to ruin a little bit for you. If you haven't seen any of them, what the heck you doing? But anyway, you'll like the story. See this cross, Arnie? Let me just stop for a second, turn out of the sun. There you go, you got it. This cross here is from the World Trade Center. All right, now I don't wear it like this usually. I'll get into how I do wear it. But it's from the steel of the World Trade Center. And so, story time is that when I was making They Come to America 2, I was focusing heavily on terrorism. A lot of it was on terrorism. And I met this woman named Mrs. Kane. She's divorced, so it's actually Miss Kane. But her son, George Kane, he died on 9/11. He was a fireman. He's one of those brave souls who ran in when everybody else was running out. So, Mrs. Kane has been, like most Americans, frustrated. Frustrated with the fact that 9/11, as terrible as it was, as much as it should have changed everything in this country when it comes to national security, it's as if we did everything upside down. It was as we said, oh, let's see if we could help terrorists top that one. And so what do? We open our borders more than they already were beforehand. We take in more people from the Middle East now than we do all other nations in the Central America, Mexico, number one area, taking them in. Yep, giving them student visas, teaching them nuclear engineering, you name it. We are doing everything backward. And she was very upset about this. And she was very upset about how the whole 9/11 museum was going on. That the way that the bodies were going to be presented, the way that they were going to have the 19 faces of the 19 terrorists there. She was very active, very upset, and in some cases felt like she was getting absolutely nowhere. So I interviewed her for the film, and she had seen, at that time, I had been on Fox all the time, on radio all the time, and I always used to try to fight for 9/11, the people of 9/11, fighting against terrorism, border, you name it. As you can tell from the walk and talks, it's always my favorite topic to go over because I think it's such a huge issue. I'll talk about this all day long. And so I reached out to this woman by chance. Didn't know anything about her. Just wound up seeing that she was from the town where Mary and I had raised our family, a place called Massapequa. So I reached out to her and I interviewed with her. And she looked me up. She was watching all my stuff. She knew me from Fox. And so anyway, I interviewed this mother. You see the interview. It's at the end of They Come to America 2. If you don't cry during that interview, you need to go to the doctor and get yourself checked. Really do. And I asked this mother if she just had one thing, if she had the chance of seeing her son one more time. So actually I should go back. She tells the story of how it is that she saw her son for the last time before he had, driven off to go to work. She tells that story, and when she tells the story, if you don't get chills down your arms, if your hair doesn't stand up, you need to go to the doctor, seriously, because you've lost all feeling. And you can imagine how hard it is for you to watch it. Imagine being me, interviewing this woman, and trying to keep my cool. Especially me. I play tough guy all the time here on Walk and Talk, but I cry like a baby. You put a Bambi movie on, I'm like, Bambi, Bambi, Bambi. I'll cry at movies all the time. I get emotional. I don't want to see people get hurt. I don't like What she said was so simple and so elegant and so appropriate for the way in which he died. I said, well, if you had a chance to see George one more time, what would you say? And she says, if I could actually imitate her. In the film, you'll see, she says, ooh, like I got her. And she says, I tell him thank you. I want to cry right now. You know, do I want to cry? So I did. I was like, you know, my tears, I was like, oh my goodness, this poor woman, you know, thank you. I want to tell him thank you. And I mean, so you could take that thank you and you could blanket it a million times. It could be thank you for being a hero on that day, trying to save people's lives. It could be thank you for being such a great son. It could be thank you for all the times that we spent together. I mean, what a huge way of using two simple words that aren't said enough as far as I'm concerned. Thank you. You know, wow. So when the interview was over, you know, we're packing up. And on that particular day, I was really busy. I think we were going in to interview Rudy Giuliani to be actually, yeah, that's what we were doing. We were going, we did her in the morning, and then we were going into the city to interview Rudy. By the way, you're sending me emails about Rudy Giuliani's Twitter account being shut down and all this other stuff. Listen, if it's not on my website, it's not it. All right, it's not his Twitter account. It's false. It's bogus. That's one of the things you got to worry about with all this fake news crap. You know, the liberals, man, let me tell you, they're tricky people. You know, they set up these stories. They put up these fake stories. So this way you're like, Rudy Giuliani's going to die. And Twitter is shutting him down. Oh, my goodness. I got to send it to DML. Yeah, DML's not going to respond. Yeah. I told him one person. It's baloney. It's baloney. It's not Rudy Giuliani's. You know, it's not his Twitter. He put something up about Pizzagate or whatever. It's just ridiculous. You know, you got to slow down. Slow down. I had another woman today. She thought she caught me, you know. She's like, the story you posted about the Santa Claus just before the 5-year-old died is a false story. Gotcha. You know, one of those things. I said, I know. That's what they tried to put out. That was a false story. But it has indeed been confirmed. Yeah, you don't get DML. It just doesn't happen. Okay? So anyway, this woman, this beautiful Mrs. Kane, the interview's over. We're packing up. We're in a rush. You know, can't be late for Rudy. So she's like, oh, can you just hold on 1 second? I'm like, yes, of course, Mrs. Kane. You know, Rudy could wait. So she goes into her bedroom. And obviously I didn't see what she did when she was there. But I'll get back to that, what I think she did. She comes out of the bedroom 2 seconds later. And she has the cross. You know? And she takes it and she puts it in my hand. And she says, this has been sitting on my bedpost for 11 years. Or 12 years. Fireman found this piece of metal right by the remains, and he, you know, refined it a little, and he gave it to me, and it has been sitting on my bedpost for the past 12 years. I said, she says, I want you to have it because nobody's out there telling the truth. Nobody is out there defending these people in the way that they're supposed to be defending them. I don't want my son and those 3,000 people to have died in vain. You have to keep on doing what you're doing. You can never stop. That's heavy stuff, you know? Heavy stuff. So I said, Ms. Kane, I cannot, in good faith, take this. She says, you have to take it. You have to take it because for as long as you have this, no matter where you go, you will have 3,000 angels protecting you. I'm like, whoa. Again, very, very heavy. But there was something about that I liked, you know? I mean, aside from the fact that being completely, I was blown away. I mean, it's like when you guys send me gifts and stuff like that. I mean, I do a lot of laughing and joking, as you know. And then periodically you get the complete serious Dennis, like you are today. You know, sometimes we sit back, Mary and I, even my daughter now, you know, with the whole Instagram thing last night. You know, my daughter sitting down, she's like, Dad, I can't believe that we just posted an Instagram and all you did is just said it one time out loud, and we know almost 2,000 people on this thing. And I said to her, you know, Ashley, I think it's because they trust me, you know, and because I relate to them, and because I don't, you know, I don't go pompous on them, and I don't go, you know, in different directions that these other people do. I said, I can only imagine that's what it is. I mean, and there to the side, we've got all these gifts sent in from you folks, and it's very, very humbling, very humbling. And, you know, it's one of those things where you just sit there and like you just suck it in and you just say, wow, you know, it's amazing. I mean, you don't even know what to say. So when this woman hands me this cross and says I'm gonna have 3,000 people. Good morning, how are you? Cute little doggy. Not a German Shepherd, I don't gotta worry about that thing. So anyhow, you know, you get a woman handing that to you. I mean, it's, you know, so I take it everywhere I go. If I travel, I take it wherever I go, And sometimes if I'm confused on which direction I should go in, I take it with me. In fact, for those of you who watched my last episode on Newsmax when they unplugged me, I actually bring out the cross and said, I cannot sit here every single night and not be able to give you the truth. I can't do that to them. And I held up to 3,000. In fact, you know, if you go on YouTube, somebody once said to me, can you post the video? No, I can't, because Newsmax busts my chops about it. But it's out there. I know people have bootleg copies of it. You could find it. Dennis Michael Lynch last night on Newsmax. There's two versions. There's actually the TV version, and then there's the version Harlan Hill did on his cell phone, because he was there. He was going to be my first guest, and he recorded all for Facebook Live. But you won't find him on DennisMichaelLynch.com. I don't have it there, but you can find it on YouTube. So anyway, you know, and it's funny, my son had to take a trip the other day, and I said to him, take the cross. They knew exactly what I was talking about. I was like, take the cross. And he's like, Dad, I can't take that. And I said, take it. And he said, all right. And just by giving it to him, I felt so much safer that he was going to come back in one piece. And I tell you, amazing part of the story. He was going on a journey with my old Jeep, which is like, you know, 1996, shouldn't even be on the road anymore. But he wanted to take it. And I was like, all right, you can take it. And so the thing started breaking up on him as he was driving. He pulled over. He's on a I-95. And he's like, Dad, I'm stuck. And I'm like, oh, goodness. I had to drive 4.5 hours to go get him and switch cars with him and drive it back myself. But I was like, thank goodness I gave him that cross. I mean, he could have been killed. And I was like, what was I thinking about giving him this car? You know, but he sold me into it, the kid. Anyhow, they'll never drive that again. But so, yeah, that cross, that woman gave me that cross. Now, here's what I think happened. I think she went into that bedroom and she looked at that cross and probably questioned herself, do I really want to give this away? I mean, giving away something like that, you want to talk about bravery? You want to talk about what a brave moment in one person's life is? Think about how brave that was of her to take that cross from the steal at 9/11, the only memento she has from that, and taking it off her bedpost and handing it to a guy that she only knows from television and who interviewed her 20 minutes prior to that. Handing that to me. It's not like she's known me. She didn't know me. Wacky things must have gone through her mind. Like, do I really want to do this? Should I really do this? My good, I mean, I can imagine. I can imagine how difficult it was. She probably had trains going all through. And ultimately, and I don't mean to be going like this, it's going to sound like that, but I guess I would do the same thing. Ultimately, this poor woman has been suffering for 12 years, 13 years, probably now at this point, all these years, saying, when will one person, just one, that has any media attention at all stand up and actually really say every single day, without pause, without worry about what's going to happen to them, stand up and fight for my son and those 3,000 people, that they did not die in vain. She came away feeling that person was me. In fact, I had asked her to appear with me on Sean Hannity. Sean was doing an hour. I've talked to you about this before. And so the people at Hannity said, hey, listen, we want a couple of people from the movie, if you could have them come in. He did a whole hour on me. And I said, sure. So I asked Miss Kane. Mrs. Kane looked at Sean and said, let me tell you something. There's only one person who truly puts his money where his mouth is, and that's Dennis Michael Lynch. I was like, ooh, said that on national television. Thank you. So anyway. Gone. So I just walked. I lost all this weight. I was like, whew, and I was eating right, doing everything right, perfect. Felt like $1,000,000, by the way, $1,000,000. Best sleep I ever had in my entire life. Eating right, turning the laptop off, going to bed at 10 o'clock, not feeding your head with so much crap late at night. Walking every day. Oh, I slept like a baby. That's why I'm trying to get back to that, you know. Oh, anyhow, so for 9/11, you know, Mary and I have our walk. We do this route, and then in the summer, we do another route, which I won't be able to do with you on Walk and Talk because there's no cell service there. So, but we do another route that's along the water. And so on this particular day, 9/11 anniversary, I said to her, let's do something different. And she's like, you want to do something different today? I was like, yeah, you know, let's just do something different. She's like, okay. And we never do anything different. I am like Mr. Consistency. Every single morning, a cup of coffee, English muffin, every single day. Boom, 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 boom. I am Mr. Routine. She's like, all right. So we decided to go to this place called Hither Hills. For those of you on Long Island, you're like, oh yeah, I used to go there as a kid. Hither Hills is this big, huge campground all the way out east on the end of Long Island. I said, let's go to Hither Hills. We'll walk around the campsite. It's a campsite that's actually oceanfront. Not many of those left. You know, the state owns it, but you would think that people want to come in and build homes. I mean, you could build $50 million homes there, but it's a campsite. It's we always call it a poor man's Riviera. You know, you go there, a lot of firemen, a lot of cops, a lot of blue collar people go there during the summer. That's their vacation, you know. It costs you about, I don't know, $50, $80, whatever for the campground. And you're there for a week. You got the beach, you climb over the dunes, you're on the beach. Just great. Everybody's all around. You're meeting people you never met before. You're drinking together, you're eating together, your kids are playing together. Kids can play in the street. Nobody drives fast. Anybody drives fast, you step up and you just kick their ass. That's the way it works. So we go September 11th. There's nobody there. Season's over. So I'm walking and talking, but at that time to my wife. And all of a sudden I hear somebody say, Dennis Michael Lynch? And I'm like, what the hell is that? And across the way is this blonde-headed lady. She drives around a car. She comes up behind me, and Mary's like, what the hell is this? I said, I have no idea. Why is anybody else here? I mean, it's empty. It's a big, huge empty. So she gets out, and I'm like, you know, I don't know. When I don't know strangers that come up to me, I'll ultimately be nice, but my first thing is like, who are you and what do you want? Especially if I'm with my wife. So I'm like, what can I do for you? So she says, hey, I'm George Kane's sister. You know, Mrs. Kane's daughter. I'm like, really? I never met her before. She's like, yeah. She goes, I can't thank you enough for all you've done. I can't believe I run into you here. And I said, well, wow, how did that happen? And she says, yeah. She goes, this is the last place I was with George before he died. And I was like, wow. So think about that. Think about that. I think it was George Kane. I think George was sending me a signal. Because at that point in time, honestly, wow, you know what? It's like all coming to me right now. I swear on everything, it's all coming to me right now. At that time, I was wondering what my next step was. You know, what am I going to do? You know, do I go out and make more documentaries? I sort of didn't want to do that anymore. You know what I mean? I didn't want to go down to the borders. I felt as if I did it all. And, you know, do I want to go do TV? Newsmax was asking me if I would want to do something with TV. I don't know. Do I want to do that? Do I want to be one of those people? You know, that's what I was saying. What do I do next? Mary and I were actually thinking about creating a business. We always talked about doing an ice cream store. So I was thinking about, all right, I got my TV 360, got my films. You know, maybe I could sell that, or maybe I could do this, or maybe do that. Maybe I'll open an ice cream store. I was totally lost. Did not know what I wanted to do when I grew up. And then she said to me, she said, she's like, are you, you know, so what are you doing next? What are you doing next? When are you going to be on TV again? I want to see you on TV. I love you when you're on TV. You know, you say it the way it is. My mom says all the time about how it is that you go on TV. And I was like, yeah, you think I should do that? And she's like, yeah, why aren't you doing that? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, no, you gotta do that. I'm like, you sure? She goes, yeah, you gotta go back. You gotta get on television. You gotta get your own show. That's what she said. Now, meanwhile, I'm talking to Newsmax. I said, yeah, it's funny. Newsmax is asking me if I want to do a show every night. She's like, you gotta do it. So she left. And when she left, I said to Mary, I said, you know, maybe I will. You know, she sort of convinced me. It's funny, maybe we will. And from that day, you know, that's when I started talking to the guy at Newsmax. That's when I created Diamond and Silk. I had already created Diamond and Silk a couple of weeks before that. You know, the two black sisters. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I will do it. I'll do it. So yeah, so it was George. Thanks a lot, George. So you could thank George Kane. So that's that. All right, I have now officially finished my walk. We had a light crowd here today, but you know what? It was more intimate. I like it that way sometimes. I do. So, DML, you did not sing us one song. The pressure. What's the song we sing? What's the song? Give me a song. What do I sing? What do I sing? I'm not in a song mood, you know? What do I sing? What about this one? This is a good one. There's a band called Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Remember Frankie Goes to Hollywood? I probably didn't. They only had one song, one hit wonder. It was called, I can't remember what the hell it was called, the name of the song. But it was, I won't back down. What was that? Come on, somebody else help me out there. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Oh, you ever gonna keep me down? I get knocked down. Right? What was that? Well, I can't remember it. I'll do it again. I'm not singing today. One of these days, this is a day I'm just not gonna sing. I'm not in a sing mood. All right? Anyway, I might be back tonight for DML report. All right? I think we're supposed to decorate my Christmas tree tonight. I might not, I might, whatever. Look for the text alerts. All right? And that's that. Until then, God bless you. God bless our troops. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the Kane family. Good people. Over and out. Okay. Gloves don't work. Finish.